Alright guys, welcome to today's video. As always, we have lots to talk about, from a brand new boxing game to a new AAA studio being set up, a controversial game topping the sales charts, and much more. If you're new here to the channel, do me a favor guys, go ahead and hit that like button. Please consider subscribing if you are interested in this type of content, talking about PlayStation and gaming industry news, rumors and leaks. So the first piece of gaming news caught me a little bit off guard, as the game hasn't really been on my radar. I haven't seen anything much spoken about this game from any of the main media outlets as far back as I can remember. The game is called Undisputed and is supposed to be the most authentic boxing game to come out for over a decade, and the best part is it's coming out this year in October. Now back in the day, for me, the best boxing game I ever played was the Fight Night set of games. I loved playing them, they were brilliant. At the time I didn't really think there was anything that good. Certainly graphics wise, I'm going back to the early 2000s, but the game was brilliant. It looked good, graphics and gameplay were excellent, and especially when it came to boxing, there wasn't really anything that I can think of that could compete. I'm going back to 2004 to 2010 when Fight Night, the series of games, were released. They were brilliant. I don't seem to remember seeing anything similar that came out around the same time. So that's what I'm comparing this Undisputed game to. Now, this article goes on to say that Steel City Interactive, who are an indie studio developing the game, working in partnership with PlayOn, who I believe are going to be the publishers of the game, they've announced that Undisputed will launch across all platforms on October the 11th, 2024. The game is currently available on PC Early Access on Steam, but will launch officially across all the other platforms in October. Undisputed will receive a digital Deluxe WBC edition for $80, giving players 3 days early access in the boxing simulation title. Plus, with the digital Deluxe edition, you also get the Fighter Pack, Apparel Pack and the Era Pack. Undisputed looks to offer the most authentic boxing game in over a decade and offers more than 70 licensed boxers, including Tyson Fury, Alexander Usyk, Canelo Alvarez, Katie Taylor and Roy Jones Jr. Players will be able to customize their fighter in a comprehensive character creator and take part in an in-depth career mode, which sees you building a team, negotiating contracts, training the fighter and setting the fighter to path to become the undisputed champion. Beyond that, Undisputed offers over 60 different styles of punches, defensive tools and footwork mechanics, and 14 different venues and rings ranging from local gyms to massive arenas. Todd Grisham and Johnny Nelson will also provide commentary for the game. I mean, it sounds great, and hopefully we get to see some gameplay next month at the Summer Game Fest, so we can actually see gameplay of the mechanics, unless you've already tried this game on PC. And if you have, let me know down below in the comments. What's the game like? I'm very keen to learn more about this. Very exciting, very interesting to get back into a boxing game. Okay, let's move on. Ever since the controversial decision by Sony to force PC players playing Helldivers 2 to create a PSN account, linking it to Steam, and then to reverse that decision, Helldivers 2 and Sony has taken a lot of stick. Some deserved and some I think not deserved. The game has been review bombed and Sony is getting a lot of negativity for it. We then had Ghost of Tsushima, a game also requiring a PSN account to play its Legends mode online, but not the single player mode, also receiving a lot of stick. However, Ghost of Tsushima's Director's Cut launched on Steam yesterday and immediately shot to the top of Steam's global sales charts, just as I expected it to. And as I stated in a previous video, only the Legends mode on Ghost of Tsushima, which is great, needs the online connection, right? But the big selling point is the single player game, and you don't need a PSN account to play the single player game for Ghost of Tsushima, hence the game being #1 on the Steam sales charts. And it's mostly been a positive launch for Sony and PlayStation, with the game clearly starting to sell very well and players in the reviews mostly enjoying the game. And according to Steam DB, at the time of this article and this information, there were 53,800 people playing Director's Cut on PC, and at its peak the player count sitting at 58,000. All of this seems to point to a very good start and a launch for PlayStation Studios game coming to PC. There doesn't appear to be any massive game-breaking bugs so far, just small glitches, as you'd expect I suppose porting a game to PC, but on the whole very positive. Where the negative comments are generally coming from is the fact that players are required to link their Steam account to a PlayStation Network account to get everything out of what they purchased. The game's main campaign and Icky Island DLC are both available without account linking. The multiplayer Legends mode obviously is a different story, and players will be required to link their accounts should they want to play the Legends mode. This requirement also prevents Legends from being available on Steam Deck. There's also the fact that due to this account linking requirement, requirement for one multiplayer mode, one little facet of the game in a game that is generally single player. Because of this, Ghost of Tsushima has been delisted on Steam in over 180 countries. It does seem silly that the game has been delisted in over 100 countries, but it's clearly an issue with being able to sign in or sign up to a PSN account, as it's not fully available in a lot of those countries. Maybe Sony could release the game in a single player mode only, not including the online stuff, and when you pay for the game, you can then enjoy the single player mode, not requiring a PSN account. Therefore, the game will be available worldwide, and it wouldn't have to be delisted in several countries. Perhaps the game is released in two prices, so there's two versions. So if you get to buy, say, Ghost of Tsushima in a country where PSN is available, then you pay full price because you get the single player game and the online mode. And in countries where the PSN account is not possible, then have a slightly lower price offering just a single player mode, or maybe just release the game at a lower price globally. So the price for Ghost of Tsushima is the same for everyone. I don't know, say 40 quid, right? 40 quid on PC, Ghost of Tsushima. It's available for everyone. There's no online mode, but it's a single player game and it's available worldwide. No one's forced to sign up to PSN if they don't want to. And if you want to play the online mode, you download it as a DLC, you pay for it, call it 10 quid, 20 quid, whatever. You download the DLC, you sign into PSN and you crack on. Let me know your thoughts down below. So let's move on and talk about a game we all know is probably the most anticipated game around the world that we have ever had. So Take-Two Interactive have had their fiscal year 2024 report, and the publisher has confirmed the highly anticipated GTA 6 will be launching in the fall of 2025. Rockstar and Take-Two have narrowed down the release window for GTA to 2025, end of the year, for when we are expecting what is going to be the biggest launch in gaming that we've ever seen. After more than a decade of GTA 5 continuing to sell millions of copies a year, always ranking in the top 5 or 10 on all the charts on PC, PlayStation, Xbox, it'll be interesting to see if GTA 6 will be able to live up to such high expectations. Take-Two go on to say, our outlook reflects a narrowing of Rockstar Games' previously established window calendar of 2025 to fall 2025 for GTA 6. They go on to say, we are highly confident that Rockstar Games will deliver an unparalleled entertainment experience, and our expectations for the commercial impact of the title will continue to increase. When GTA 5 came out in 2013, I remember the queues at the game shop here in the UK. It was brilliant. It was incredible. It was great, right? Massive queues everywhere just to get GTA 6. Everyone coming out talking about their own GTA experiences, reminiscing, talking about the original games, talking about GTA 2 and 3. It was great, and I can't wait for this. On my PS5 Pro, day one, physical copy. I'll be locked away for a few weeks, so you might not see me on the channel playing this game. And I miss those days of physically getting off my ass, going to the shops and picking up a console or picking up the latest games. Those days were brilliant, especially the midnight launches where everyone just happily waited and, in the queues talking about their gaming experiences, lining up to get the PS3, lining up to get the PS2, getting the Xbox, the original 360, right? Lining up to get these consoles and games when they're about to hit the shops. Those people that have never queued up for a new console or a previous great game like the original GTAs or Metal Gear Solid, Call of Duty, queuing up to get those games and being the first ones, in that queue to get it. They will never know what that feels like in the gaming industry. It's one of the things I really miss about new console and game launches. Now you can just order it and it delivered to your home. But that buzz when you walk into a shop and you get presented with your brand new console, and you pay for your console or your game, get it home, unbox it, plug it in, and then you start to play. Unbelievable. The feeling is brilliant. Anyway, I'm reminiscing here of the good old days. Let's move on before I get all emotional. Summer Game Fest has revealed, showing the publishers and studios appearing at the June 7 event. In total, 55 partners are participating, including Sony and Xbox, amongst smaller players like Devolver Digital and Annapurna Interactive. In addition to Xbox and PlayStation, major publishers include Ubisoft, EA, Sega, Epic, Bandai Namco, Capcom 2K, and WB Games. You can see on the screen the 55 partners there. Amazon Games and Netflix Games will also make a showing, as will Focus Entertainment, Funcom, and PlayOn, who are involved in the Undisputed boxing game. So hopefully, fingers crossed, we get to see a gameplay demo. Other parties include Steam, Meta, Samsung, though it's unclear as to what extent that they'll be directly involved in the event. The event is going to last around 2 hours long, so it's going to be a long one, and there's always a few golden nuggets of games that are shown at these events. So I'm looking forward to it, and I'll be streaming it live on the channel for those that are planning to watch this. Come along, hang out, let's see what new games are shown at the event. So let's move on. After closing down 3 big studios at Bethesda and folding a 4th into their internal studios, Activision has reportedly opened a new studio. The studio is called Elsewhere Entertainment, based in Warsaw, Poland. Elsewhere Entertainment is tasked with developing a narrative-based and genre-defining AAA franchise. Activision underwent a massive wave of layoffs following its acquisition by Microsoft earlier this year, and Activision announced the news in a blog post revealing that the team will be headquartered in Poland with additional resources supported by the US. Now, the studio has been built from the ground up. The studio devs include some of the industry's greatest veterans with brilliant gaming experience working on the likes of The Last of Us, Uncharted, The Witcher, Destiny, Far Cry, and Tom Clancy's The Division. Elsewhere Entertainment has full access to Activision's resources and tools as it continues to increase production and development. With all those industry veterans working at the studio, hopefully they can introduce us to some new IP. Whatever it is though, I am excited to learn what they're working on. However, it will be some time. In fact, it's probably going to be years before we see anything from the studio, but nonetheless, it's always exciting to hear about new studios and new IP being developed. Let's move on, guys. Exciting news if you are a fan of the Mafia or Bioshock. The reason why I say this is because 2K is working on a brand new entry for each of the 2 games. 2K has previously confirmed it's working on new entries in its Bioshock and Mafia franchises. Developer Hangar 13 confirmed last year that a new Mafia game is in development, but claimed that it was a few years away from release. More recently, it was claimed that 2K is gearing up for an announcement related to the Mafia, probably at the Gamescom Summer Game Fest event. Meanwhile, 2K announced in December 2019 that work had already begun on a new entry in the Bioshock franchise, and that it would be in development for the next several years. Jonathan Pelling, who was a designer on the original Bioshock games, as well as the creative director at the 2K Australia team, responsible for Infinite Floating World of Columbia, is the design director for the new Bioshock game. The game's creative director is Della Plente, who was involved with the original Bioshock across multiple disciplines, including level design, environment, art, and programming. And Scott Sinclair, the art director of the original Bioshock and Bioshock Infinite games, is also working on the new Bioshock full game. Very exciting to know that we are going to be getting a new Mafia and Bioshock game. Given that Bioshock started its development in 2019 and Mafia's development started more recently, it would be safe to assume that we are very likely to be getting a Bioshock game from 2K, possibly 2025. That would be 6 years of development time on the game, and then a Mafia game probably 2026, maybe 2027, given that we learned the game was being developed in 2023. So that would give the game 3 or 4 years development time. Maybe that's not enough, not sure. Perhaps it needs 5 years, which will put the game into 2028 before it's released. But anyhow, good to know these games are in development. It's been a while since I played both Bioshock and Mafia games. I would love to get a new experience in those worlds, especially the Mafia world. Let me know your thoughts down below in the comments about today's topics. Thank you for watching, and I'll catch you on the next video.